you could only carry 3 items from your everyday carry for life, that's it, 3, no weekend challenge or anything like that, burn it to the ground and you have 3 things left. No backup blades, no pouches full of just in cases, just 3 items forever. What would they be? We're gonna talk about that this week, as well as a confession that I have to make. I'm Taylor Martin, this is Deep Cuts, and let's do the damn thing. All right, so just 3 items. I have a lot of EDC gear. I have several hundred knives, I have a lot of tools, I have a lot of flashlights, I have a lot of everything. And choosing just 3 items is incredibly tough. But for 2 of the items, I was actually pretty quick to come to an answer. Pretty obviously, the knife would be an Umnumzaan. And I've gone back and forth. Most of the time, I always kind of land on the Umnumzaan, so that's probably no surprise to you guys. But I have said that if I could only have 1 knife, it would be a fixed blade. But I'm actually gonna rescind that note, because if I can only carry 3 items, I don't always want to carry a fixed blade, because there are times where a fixed blade is very inconvenient. So a pocket knife, a folding knife, is actually more convenient in a lot of different ways. So if I could only ever have 1 knife ever, it would probably be a fixed blade. But if we're talking 1 knife that I can only carry 1 knife, then it would have to be the Umnumzaan, because I need something that's folding and a little bit more convenient in any situation. So Umnumzaan is the knife. The other item, which was a very clear winner for me, I didn't have to think about it very much at all. This is a little bit bougie. This is the Okluma DC0. I've had a lot of flashlights over the years. And yes, the flashlight that I recommend the most is probably actually the Phoenix PD25R. I do like that flashlight. I have like 6 of those lights. I love them. But if I could only have 1, I do feel like I would rather have an Okluma. And the reason behind that is I feel like with a Phoenix, over the time that I would have that 1 light, I would probably need replacements. So if we're talking like one thing that I would trust to last for a very, very, very long time, I'm going with this Okluma DC0. It has a lifetime, no questions asked warranty. So if I happen to drop it, run over it, break it in whatever capacity, I can send it in, and as long as they can tell that it's an Okluma, they're gonna either fix it or replace it, no questions asked. So I think the warranty kind of holds up on something like this flashlight. Is it a $450 flashlight? Yes. Is that a lot of money for a flashlight? Yes. I'm also talking about a $500 to $850 knife here. So we're talking like one time, buy it for life, buy once, cry once. I'm going to go with something that I trust. These 2 kind of fit the bill there. And the third item, I actually have gone back and forth over. I'm not 100% sure if I'm making the right call here, because like this would technically, just by the rules laid out here, would be no wallet really, no pen, no whatever, right? Whatever item I choose is it. And the thing that I've chosen is the Leatherman Arc. And I think that's because it covers so many bases. That leaves me without a pen or a wallet and no key solutions. I think I could probably live without those, but I would rather have something where I can still get some stuff done. So the Leatherman has to be on that list. And if I'm choosing one Leatherman, I prefer the Arc. So it is a close race between which Leatherman, like the Charge, the Surge are all good as well. But the Arc, I think for me, is the best compromise and the best collection of tools in one. And I do really appreciate the one-handed operation of it. So Leatherman Arc for me. So we're talking Leatherman Arc, Okluma DC0, and CRK Umnumzaan. Those are my 3. Let me know what your 3 are in the comments down below. And also if you think I missed the mark here, but for me, that's pretty freaking solid. All right, now I want to take a moment to thank our channel sponsors who make all of this possible. And first up, we have Worksharp. They make awesome sharpeners, but now they have knives like this one. This is the RMX. They are doing restocks every single Monday at 10 a.m. PST. This Monday, they are dropping full-size drop points in both colors. So we have the black handle as well as the gray. Big drop of both of those variations. I also want to take a moment to thank bigidesign. They make awesome titanium pocket tools and knives, and also all sorts of awesome pins and watches like this one, the TI GMT, which is live on Kickstarter right now. Go check it out. You can also find us on Whatnot. Whatnot is a live streaming auction platform. Think of it as like eBay meets TikTok Live. We get into all sorts of debauchery and a lot of fun. We also sell stuff along the way, like knives. I've sold off a lot of my own personal collection. We sell some carry commission stuff that you can't just go out and buy at any point in time. So we have a lot of fun. We sell some cool stuff. You can also find other stuff on the platform like cards and vintage goods, all sorts of stuff over on Whatnot. If you use this QR code, you can get $15 towards your first purchase. I also want to thank Carry Commission. If you didn't know, that is my company. We have a store where we curate some of my favorite things from the industry. Last week, we dropped this right here, which is the Jack Wolf Knives Canine Jack. There are some still available if you'd like to check one out. But this coming week, we are becoming a dealer at long last for UG Tools, the German brand that makes 3D printed titanium handled knives. They are awesome. We will have some here at Carry Commission, as well as some other UG Tools stuff. So go check that out. That's happening on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. All right, change of pace here. This is a new segment. We're gonna call this EDC Confessionals. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's you, either anonymously or otherwise, telling us something, confessing to something that you're not exactly proud of, be it a sin that you've committed, an EDC sin, some taboo, or a hot take that you think you probably have the unpopular opinion on, anything like that. We have a form, it'll be linked down below. You can fill out that form. You can choose to be anonymous. You can also include your identity. You can do a video submission, a photo submission, an audio submission, whatever you would like. You can submit to your EDC confessional, and we can all either laugh at you or have a good time with you. It's all lighthearted and fun. There are so many things in the EDC world that are way too serious now. This is supposed to be a fun little outlet. Here, I'll get us started. I bought a Gerber and I liked it. This is the Gerber Affinity. I bought it for the Ace Hardware EDC that we did this past week. I bought it because it was what seemed like the best option there. I actually think it's a pretty good knife. The last several Gerbers I bought were not good at all, wouldn't even flick open, and I kind of had a sour taste in my mouth towards Gerber as a knife company. They've made a lot of okay knives over the years, a few good ones, and this is one of the very, very good ones. It's definitely the best Gerber I've ever handled. Copper handle, D2 blade, it's got good action, it has an adjustable thumb stud. This thing's great. The only thing I don't like is that at Ace Hardware, I spent $60 on this knife, and on Amazon it's 22 bucks. At $22, it's impossible to complain about this knife. At 60 bucks, yeah, there's a couple of things that I think could be better, but honestly, pretty freaking good for the money. So that is my EDC confession. Let me know yours down below on the Google form. Next up, we got a couple of comments that I would like to highlight from the community this week. Nothing major, but I do kind of want to put this out there. So this one comes from Dave Pinchefeo. He says, I feel like Worksharp's contribution to the knife market hurt Leatherman's entry into the premium category. I know the RMX isn't American made, but them introducing a unique mechanic with great materials at an affordable price set a precedent for out of left field companies getting into the knife/premium category biz today. I kind of agree. So the RMX, if this had not happened before the Leatherman knives, so if the opposite had happened, Leatherman came first, I think the reception would have been a little bit better. I don't think it would have been perfect, but I do agree that the RMX coming out just months before the Leatherman knives really changed the attitude of people, because this, again, is not made in America, but it's half the price of the Leatherman knives, and a really, really, really great knife for the money, and innovative. It's a thing that other people aren't doing. A cast magnesium handle that is then milled, so you have an integral handle with a very thin blade, a pretty unique button lock mechanism that is different from other button locks, a pivot system that can be completely removed and then swapped for an automatic pivot. They did a lot of innovation here and did a lot of things right, and I agree. I do think this hurt Leatherman's entry into the knife category, or re-entry if you want to call it that, but at the same time, I just think Leatherman just slightly missed the mark just because of the fit and finish and the price that they're asking. Again, I don't think they're wildly overpriced. I just think it's a mismatch of fit and finish and price. So if the fit and finish were even better, I'd say perfect, but the fit and finish isn't, so the price does feel high in my opinion. But I do think they're pretty good knives, all things considered. I do think also that this affected the reception of the Leatherman knives without a doubt in my mind. We also have one comment from Taylor Asbell. Usernames are just impossible. They said, have you thought about making your own small multi-tool with premium materials like titanium or something? Yes. I have talked with several companies about doing small multi-tool. The thing is, it's not a cheap business. If you were to make a multi-tool, a small multi-tool out of premium materials, it would be a very expensive venture. Like the Vulpes. Let's look at the Fox Knives Vulpes. That is like a premium take on a Swiss Army knife. Some of them are a little cheaper, especially the aluminum handled ones, but the titanium handled with M390, I think they're $100-ish and up, but that's just one tool. That's like a Swiss Army knife. You're paying 3-4 times what a Swiss Army knife costs for a premium version. We're not talking pliers and all this other stuff. So you have like Next Tool and Roxxon putting tools out there made in China, and they're still fairly expensive for what they are. If I were to try and make like a titanium handled premium material multi-tool, it would be expensive. The smaller the multi-tool, generally the price doesn't come down. So you have this pricing mismatch again, where a smaller tool is actually a little bit harder to make than a bigger tool. So it's harder to make, therefore it's typically going to be more expensive to make, but then the consumer perception is that because it's smaller, it should be cheaper, but that's actually the opposite of how it works. So it's a really tricky game, the small multi-tool game. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I don't think people are out there wanting a $300-400 small titanium multi-tool. I'm sure some people wouldn't mind, but in general, I feel like it would be tough to nail the right tool set, the right size, the right materials, and the right price. Getting all those right seems like a pretty big gamble. So I have thought about it. I've kicked it around a little bit, but ultimately I have not moved forward yet. All right, so it is time for Up the Ante. This is not a head-to-head between me and Ricky this time. Instead, he has a challenge for me, which is...
All right, so when the RMX came out, Sam, Taylor, and Eric over at Worksharp did a video to see who could swap out the pivot on the RMX the fastest.
Yeah,
Taylor
from
lost.
manual to auto.
From manual to auto, Taylor lost by like a second. Today, we have a similar concept, but instead of swapping from manual to auto, what Taylor is gonna do is swap the blades on these two RMX in under a minute. If
Yes, we're going drop point to gray handle, Wharncliffe to black handle.
Right. If he can do it in under a minute, he wins. If he doesn't, guess what? You guys win an RMX.
One of you. Not you guys.
No.
One of you wins an
of you.
RMX. Everybody who watches this
Worksharp?
video.
Worksharp, how many RMXs can we do? Yeah, one person,
One
one
RMX.
comment wins an RMX.
A random comment.
A random comment.
1 minute. All right.
3, 2, 1, go. I feel like we need some excitement. Ilya, play some really exciting music right now. Something like... Okay, all right. Knife out, blade out on the Wharncliffe one. Reverse top toe, whatever.
Shouldn't have taken that back screw out.
Yeah, honestly.
Uh-oh.
Seems like...
Stuck.
Oh, man. Oh, all right, we're good. Doing good, man. You got this.
I'm not doing great. Oh no. This is not looking good. I'm not gonna make it.
Oh man.
I don't know what happened. I forgot how to do it.
I feel like this happens all the time.
Damn it.
Like it's like something about the camera being on and the pressure.
It's the pressure. I just
you,
crumble under pressure.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Someone wins an RMX.
someone wins an RMX, and I got to get these back together. Oh my God! Why did I mess that up so bad?
What was your strategy here? Okay.
That's where I messed up. I didn't push the button in, and it got hung up. Yeah. See, if you get the button pushed in, the blade kind of locks into place, and I didn't push the button all the way in.
All right. Let's try this again.
All right.
This is for shits and gigs.
Yep.
There we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. This will be much better this time.
Here we go, dude. You already look locked in. Like,
I'm
you
just
look like you're
upset
ready.
that it was so slow last time.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. 10 seconds, you're already on second pivot. Ilya, instead of playing hardcore music here, play something silly. Like something goofy.
Oh,
Oh.
Okay. We're going this blade into this handle. This is what we need. That needs to pop out and it didn't. Okay.
All right. You lost your chance. I'm sorry.
I haven't lost yet, but I'm about to. Yeah, we're at 51. But at least got one back together.
Yeah. Hey,
All right. It was ambitious, okay?
valiant effort. Again, this is not a good example of how to do this, but if you can do this, if you have 2 RMXs and you can do it faster than he did,
I didn't even get it right.
Send us a video.
I didn't get the front locked in.
I'm gonna stop right there.
Can I do it again?
No. Congratulations. Thank you, Worksharp. Thank you, Worksharp, for
thank Worksharp
for sponsoring this
and thank
segment.
me for being an idiot.
Yeah.
All right, next up is our carry of the week. This comes from an actual personal friend of mine. His name is Craig Parker, and he is awesome. I met him through Georgia Bushcraft, but the best part about Craig is that he was not into EDC at all before he met me, and now he's in deep. In fact, he bought some of my gear here, but also my personal Umnimzon. So I had made a video a long time ago saying I would never sell my Umnimzon. I did, but that's only because I managed to find this rare green Umnimzon. So I sold my old one to Craig, and it's here in this photo. He has in this photo a Chris Reeve Umnimzon, as well as a rustic heirloom hitchhiker wallet in cement gray. There's a Big Idea Design TPT slide, Best EDC edition. There is a TI Pocket Pro as well. And the flashlight next to that is the Raylight Pineapple Mini. And then finally a titanium comb, which he said he doesn't know who the maker is, but he got it at Blade Show. Craig says, I absolutely love Stonewash titanium gear. The setup has taken me some time to put together, but it's absolutely perfect for me now. The CRK Umnimzon is my Grail folding knife, and I'm extremely happy that you sold this one to me, Taylor. The pin and flashlight get used on a daily basis. Both are the perfect size for EDC in my opinion. I have several hitchhiker wallets now, but this colorway is my favorite for when I want to carry all Stonewash titanium gear, as I think it matches perfectly. The TPT slide I got at Blade Show, and I have been carrying it ever since and love it. The comb is cool and useful addition to my carry to comb my beard throughout the day. I also picked it up at Blade Show, and when asked if he wanted help finding anything, he said, I do want to add one of your jerry can gaslight lighters to my carry when you do a drop on them. So if you aren't aware, this is what he's referencing. This is a Gaslight Industries lighter. They aren't really out yet. We have sold a couple through Whatnot, but they aren't officially out because reasons, but they will be out soon-ish. So you guys will obviously be the first to know when they do launch, but until then, you'll just have to sit tight. Thank you, Craig. All right, we're down to the part where you guys ask what's in my pockets. You always ask in the comments if I don't tell you, so here we are, 60 seconds or less. This is what I'm carrying today. First up, we have the new Benchmade Mini Crooked River in the burnt copper and black micarta. Those came out recently, I believe. That's my key. The wallet, the same as always. Hitchhiker wallet, this time in honeycomb. And the pen, same as always. We have the Big Idea Design Pocket Pro in bronze, USA made. I got my keys, which have changed, actually. I won't go into too much detail on that, but we'll talk about it in a future video. I still have the Tetra 229. Still have the Tetra 229. I went back to brass. I don't even know where the titanium is. Leatherman Arc, same as last time, and the TI GMT from Big Idea Design, which came out this week. So that is everything in my pockets today. All right, so the winner of last week's giveaway, or the last Deep Cuts giveaway, which was for a Knife Riff-Raff, is Rit PA over on YouTube. They said, to be honest, not excited about Leatherman's new knives. It's like Ferrari making a pickup truck. Hashtag Leatherman knives. I'm gonna be honest, dude, if Ferrari made a pickup truck, I'd be pretty hyped. I mean, that sounds kind of badass, to be honest. So, can't say I agree exactly with that sentiment, but doesn't matter. You won a Knife Riff-Raff. And this week we're giving away the last mini Bedlam from Benchmade. So courtesy of Benchmade, if you would like to enter to win this, go check your inbox. The instructions are in this week's EDC Weekly at the bottom. If you're not already signed up, you've already missed the boat. You can't win this knife, but you can sign up for the newsletter to get instructions for future giveaways. So go check your inbox. If you don't have an email there, you can't win, but you can sign up and win in the future. All right, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, love making these deep cuts. They are getting more and more complex, which is kind of the antithesis of how we decided to shoot this, but doesn't matter. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I want it to be crazy, unhinged, and fun for you guys to watch. So let me know what you would like us to talk about in the future in the comments down below. I will see you guys in the next video. And until then, carry on.